Do we have archaeological proof of an ancient civilization at the southern tip of Africa, one that predates ancient Egypt by about 200,000 years, and which includes circular stone ruins, prehistoric mines, large pyramids, and the first Sphinx? Time to dig deep here on Things Visible and Invisible. Michael, the last time we spoke, you talked to me about ancient civilizations in Africa that often have been overlooked by archaeology. However, your researches over the years into these ancient civilizations has brought you to certain startling conclusions about the world we live in today. Where would you like to start?
Well, when you study ancient civilizations, sooner or later you're going to come across the subject of money and where money comes from. And that's what happened to me. In 2004, I discovered, while I was writing Slave Species of God, the Sumerian texts, the Sumerian clay tablets, and the Sumerians' kings' lists, where they mention the kings that lived and ruled the world for thousands of years, and how they created the first temples, and how from those temples they started to issue laws and punishment, and also start issuing the first small clay tablets in the forms of promissory notes, bills of exchange, and negotiable instruments. And that was the first creation and the origin of money. And when I discovered that, some 4000 BC already, they were doing this. Creating money in the form of clay tablets and asking people to bring in their gold and bring in their silver into the temples, and then giving them a piece of clay with some fancy writing on it while they keep the gold and the silver. You go, okay, hold on, this is a scam. I can see where the modern money and the modern banking system comes from. And then you'd fast forward to 1670 and 1760, the launch of the Rothschilds empire, banking empire in Europe, and you realize that the Rothschilds just took what the ancient Anunnaki or these first priest kings. By the way, that was also the first time that we see the appearance of royal bloodlines on earth. When it says in the Sumerian text, when the gods lowered kingdom from heaven to earth, or kingdom was lowered to earth from heaven, and the gods appointed the first priest kings to rule over humanity. This has to be taken very seriously. And these same priest kings that had fierce weapons or weapons of mass destruction with which they could smite people en masse, they're the guys that started issuing these clay tablets in the forms of money. So the whole thing is so twisted and unbelievable. And you realize, oh my goodness, this is exactly what's going on in the world today. The Rothschilds perfected it. They set up the central banking system, and slowly but surely over 100 years, they exported it to the world. And here we are today. All of us are trapped in the global world of central banking, all orchestrated from the City of London and the Rothschild banking empire. No matter what you were taught at school and at university about the money system, it is the tool of enslavement and the tool of control that controls all our governments, all our countries, all our lives, from the first breath you take to the last breath you breathe out. And it's on that note, when I made that discovery, while writing Slave Species of God, I realized that we need to find a new system, that we can't continue being dependent on the money that's created out of thin air by the bankers. And that's when the whole idea of what I called contributionism was born, where people in small towns can take back their power and start to cooperate, collaborate, working together towards the common good of their community, as opposed to fighting with each other and opposing each other and competing against each other with all kinds of businesses and that, which is part of the distraction. Once we stop competing against each other and start collaborating for the greater good, it can still be within a competitive construct, but as long as the outcomes and the benefits benefit the whole community and not just benefit the few at the expense of the many, then we can find a quick solution. So I called it contributionism in 2005, and that then grew into what has become the One Small Town initiative today, and just embraced and loved by millions of people around the world. And that's what we're busy implementing in South Africa, in the UK, USA. We're focusing on the English-speaking countries, but it's taken almost 20 years to develop that idea, develop that theory into a workable model with a workable platform and the tools that'll allow people in small towns to be able to set it up. Because it's, yeah, we've had to learn the hard way. Look at all the so-called intentional communities around the world. Why have they failed? Why is there not a single intentional community out of thousands and thousands that can be held up as an example of what we should be doing? Why have they all failed? So that's what I've had to learn. I've visited many of the so-called famous intentional communities, including the kibbutzes in Israel and so forth, and looked at where they failed. What did they do that didn't work? And we worked that into the one small town model. It is a beautiful thing. We have a very strong and a powerful blockchain platform that can track and trace the memberships, the members' contributions, the reward systems that we've created through our memberships, our tokenization. So we have our own, what we call an infinity token for people and members that contribute towards their community, where we have the reward systems from the businesses that we start as a community. And the entire One Small Town structure works on a very simple premise.
Well,
every member is asked to contribute 3 hours a week. That's it, 3 hours a week. And, you know, at first it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you take a town of 10,000 people and each one of us contributes 3 hours a week, we suddenly have 30,000 hours of labor that we have to find something to do with. That's 120,000 hours of labor a month. That puts us in competition, or can compare us to a company of the same number of employees, except we don't have the labor cost because we're doing the work ourselves voluntarily because we choose to, so that we can start our own businesses. We own those businesses. We take the profits from those businesses, and we export whatever it is we manufacture or build or grow, and then share the profits among us. And that is all managed by the blockchain, the membership structures, and that's what's taken so long to put together. Because without the membership structures, the accountability, the bookkeeping, the reporting systems, the distribution mechanisms, you can't do it. And that's one of the reasons why intentional communities that start out will always start out with great enthusiasm. People say, we're going to move onto this land, we're going to grow food, and we're going to live happily, and we're going to free ourselves. And within 12 months, they start fighting, bickering, stabbing each other in the back. And it always ends in tears.
Now, Michael, you're a historian as much as you're an archaeologist, and you will be familiar, I mean, with many of these historical attempts as well to start societies, utopias, whatever we want to call them. You'll also know that I know South Africa wasn't part of it, but certainly Europe and other parts of Asia were under communism, which was a kind of utopian society as well, of one sort or another. We all know how these ended up, and it wasn't pretty. What makes your initiative different in the sense that you're right to look at kibbutzes and other examples around the world of these deliberate ways of living collectively that don't really work out. They work out short term sometimes, and then they morph into something which is more institutional. Given also the fact that you're able to look at the breadth of history and see that banking stretches back to the twilight of history and is still very much today with us, some might say it's a kind of David and Goliath situation, and the money would be on Goliath on this one.
Yeah, it's you brought up communism. Many people do that, so I just want to make it very, very clear. Contributionism is nothing even close to communism. Communism is a brutal dictatorship where the state owns everything and people own nothing. People pretty much are slaves to the state and to a dictator. That's what communism is. Contributionism is exactly the opposite, where everything belongs to the people of small communities, that the people decide what they're going to do. They decide what businesses they're going to start, what food they're going to grow, how they're going to produce it or store it or whatever, who they're going to sell it to. So it is completely the opposite. So contributionism, the activity is in the word. We contribute towards the well-being of our community, and it's not compulsory. So you don't have to participate. So if we start One Small Town the One Small Town initiative in your town, not everybody has to sign up. It can be, 10% of the people, and those 10% of the people will set up their own group of people and their management teams, and they'll plan their businesses that they want to start. They'll plan their community upliftment projects that they want to start. They'll plan their community kitchen and what they need to do to fix their town and so forth. And those who want to participate will join and participate. Those who don't. But once the benefits start to flow, once the benefits of the food that we grow for ourselves start to come back to the community, once the education that we bring to our community starts to kick in, once the businesses that we start to bring in the profits, and there could be hundreds of businesses that we start in a short space of time, when those profits start coming back and being distributed among our members, that's when those that don't get involved, or those people that sit on the fence, say, well, I want to sit on the fence. I'm going to see how this is going to work. Once they start seeing the benefits and how well the people are doing, and how they take care of themselves, how we take care of ourselves in our communities, those that sit on the fence will join very quickly, because there's no downside. You're not forced to do anything against your will or anything. All you got to do is contribute 3 hours a week, and you go and we use the blockchain and the platform to ask people to go here or go there, or seek certain experts to help setting up this specific business, or whether we're doing a carpentry shop, or whether we're doing an engineering shop, or whether we're growing food, we need agricultural expertise and so forth. So there's a space for everybody. Whether we want to start a horse racing track, we'll need experts in horse racing, So whatever we as a community decide we're going to do, whether it's in sports, arts, culture, recreation, tourism, whether it's in engineering, agriculture is always the first thing that we promote. It's entirely up to us in our community deciding what we're going to do for ourselves.
But as well, Michael, I mean, it's not simply a sort of glorified credit union, in the sense that there is a philosophical underpinning to the whole idea, and presumably anybody who wants to be part of this initiative has to buy into that. They have to understand just what you were talking to earlier, which is that the banking system is ultimately corrupt and corrupting, and it's an opt-out. It's an opt-out of what, for most people, is the norm. Is that a fair summary of what people have to philosophically enter into if they're going to be part of this?
Well, yes, I guess so. Philosophically, they need to resonate with the idea and the vision and long-term plan, the long-term vision of we taking control of our own future prosperity and abundance. And we're doing it by taking care of ourselves and planning our future together, not to fight each other. So, we're not going to start 10 bakeries trying to compete against each other. We want one bakery that belongs to our community. And instead of baking 100 loaves of bread in each bakery, we now have one community bakery that bakes 10,000 loaves of bread a day. We keep for ourselves what we need, and the rest we export and sell and bring the profit back to our town and share that profit. So it changes the dynamic completely. So this is like, collectivism and using our own skills and labor force, our free, willing labor force, to take it to a whole nother level. If we want to start making cars, we can set up a car factory. Write the business plan, get the experts involved, raise the funding, and do it. But we're not fighting money. It's really important that I just need to make sure that your audience understands. We're not exiting the money system, because we can't. We still need to work within the money system. If we're going to, bake bread or milk or sell laptops or bicycles or whatever it is that we do, we still need to manufacture it and sell it for pounds or euros or dollars and bring the profit back to our town. But we also have our own reward system, which is the infinity token. And that's very much taken over where Bitcoin failed us. Bitcoin was supposed to have been this alternative means of exchange that allowed people to operate outside of the financial systems, and it failed us very quickly. It very quickly became a means of enrichment, and the benefit of the Infinity token, it's a private membership reward system. You can't crash it. It's not traded on open stock markets, so no one can infiltrate it and crash it or destroy it. And we as One Small Town globally, the blockchain manages that and the issuing of the tokens. It's generated when we contribute 3 hours to our community. So we have created what is now regarded by many and more crypto heads are starting to realize this, we have the most stable token or cryptocurrency anywhere in the world in the One Small Town initiative.
What is, I mean, we talked earlier in the last interview, Michael, about the reaction in academia to your researches. What's been the reaction politically, socially in South Africa, just for instance, to your initiative, to the One Small Town idea?
Well, with One Small Town, we have a very important slogan, is that we are not fighting the government. We don't fight anybody. We use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. That's one of very important statements. So we use money, because money is a tool of enslavement, the number one tool of enslavement, together with the laws and the et cetera, the corporate structures and so forth. So we have to create a corporate structure that benefits our community. So in every country, there's a different corporate structure. It could be an LLC, it could be a non-profit company, it could be a community interest initiative, or whatever they're called in the UK. It could be a cooperative, etc. So we find the most appropriate corporate structure for the initiative, and then we use that so that it benefits our members. Obviously, One Small Town is a private membership organization around the world, which is recognized worldwide. So with that come a lot of benefits and protection and so forth. So we can do a whole bunch of stuff that you can't do as a company, or a listed company. We're really not going up against the government. We're just choosing to start businesses that benefit us. But at the same time, it's important to know that, like Buckminster Fuller said, if you want to change a system, you don't fight the system. You create another system that makes the existing system obsolete. And that's, in essence, what we're doing. By using the tools of enslavement, we slowly but surely, on a parallel track, building something that we get stronger and stronger, make more money and more profit, become financially stable. Once you imagine a town making, a billion pounds a year, which I can take you through the numbers if you want, and you realize, oh my God, that's quite possible. The guy isn't on drugs. We can actually do this. We can take a town of 10,000 people and make $1 billion or pounds profit per annum. It's quite spectacular when you start doing the numbers, because we are doing the work ourselves voluntarily. No one is forcing us to do it. And that changes the mindset. Knowing that we're doing it for ourselves, that changes everything. And very quickly, imagine if you had 1,000 towns in the UK that were completely independent financially, or making £1 billion a year. And where does the power lie? Does it lie with the politicians, or does it lie with the people in the towns? Of course it lies with the people. So slowly but surely, we create an alternative system that brings the power back in the hands of the people. And that's what we're doing. And it's a process, because not everybody understands it at first. So that's not how I try and sell this to people, because not everybody has that kind of big picture view of what we can achieve and what's possible. I can understand it because I've been doing it a long time. But what people do know, and no matter what country you go to in the world right now, the world is a mess. It's screwed up. Everybody, and especially people in small towns, are feeling the pressure of degradation, of economic decay and economic collapse. Farms are standing empty. Towns are standing empty. Warehouses are standing empty. Schools and hotels and motels and farm barns are standing empty. It's unbelievable what's going on. Well, this approach will change that and bring our towns back into becoming productive centers of our communities. Turn small towns into highly productive and profitable centers where we, the people, have the vision. We decide what we're going to do, and we go and do it and bring the profits back.
Your ideas about ancient civilizations are revolutionary, Michael, amongst academics. But listening to you tonight, these ideas are equally revolutionary. I mean, do you see yourself as a sort of socio-economic revolutionary?
No, I see myself as a guy who's devoted his life towards doing this. Whatever you want to call me, that's on you. Whatever people want to call me, you referred to me as a modern day Indiana Jones. I didn't call myself that. That's some quote that somebody else made a long time ago about me, and that's somehow stuck. So I just want to make this work. I want to. We're so close now. We've developed our own technology, so we're about to start generating what I believe is going to be a sufficient and substantial income that's going to grow from month to month. I trust that by the end of this month or next month, that those floodgates are going to open, and that technology is going to move on to us developing other new technologies that are really cutting edge, breaking, really, really advanced technologies that will become the funding mechanism for small towns around the world. So it's taken nearly 2 decades, probably about 17 years of total commitment, blood, sweat, and tears. But everything we've done was a critical and important lesson we've had to learn of what does not work, so that we can then build the systems that work and help create the blockchain platform that allows people in small towns to manage this, from the business plans that they write, to the project management systems, to the memberships, the membership cards, the QR code system we use, the digital wallet that you get your Infinity tokens, that you can share and send your Infinity tokens to any other member instantly and for free around the world. Like we wanted to use Bitcoin in the beginning, but then people started to lose their wallets and lose their Bitcoins and became a mess. It was very difficult to work. With us, it's so easy. You sign up as a member. Automatically, as you sign up as a member, you have a digital wallet in your membership account. You can buy Infinity tokens, or you can earn them by contributing 3 hours. And then you can start using your Infinity tokens. You can never lose it. They can never be degraded or crashed or devalued. In fact, the more people use them, the more valuable they most likely going to become. But in our One Small Town environment, in the One Small Town stores, where you can go and get stuff with Infinity tokens without having to have pounds or dollars or euros, that's when people start realizing, they're going to start to realize how important this alternative system of Infinity tokens, private membership reward system is. So you don't have to have a job where you earn dollars or pounds, where you can simply be part of the One Small Town community and be earning your Infinity tokens and still be able to live really well, because you can get everything you need at the One Small Town store.
Amazing. Sounds fascinating. Unfortunately, Michael, we've come to the end of our interview. Tell people where they can find out more about this One Small Town initiative, and also where they can find out more about you and your fascinating researches.
Well, the One Small Town initiative is unquestionably the most important thing that I've probably ever done in my life and do. So onesmalltown.org, it's our main website. All the information is in there. You can go in there, sign up, become a member. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And just read through the website, learn about it, discover it, get excited, and then tell everybody, because there is no other initiative like it.
Okay. For now, Michael, thank you so much for coming on Things Visible and Invisible.
Thank you very much, Seán.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Things Visible and Invisible. We're dedicated to uncovering phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality. From ancient enigmas and paranormal encounters to scientific anomalies and forgotten histories. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious and unexplained, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on future explorations. Have a personal experience or story that aligns with our investigations? We'd love to hear from you. Visit our website at tvi.show and reach out through our contact form. While we can't feature every submission, we review them all, and your story might be featured in an upcoming episode. To support our continued investigations, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter or channel member. Your contributions make these explorations possible and give you access to exclusive content, early releases, and monthly behind-the-scenes discussions with our team. Don't forget to check out our merch store. We've got everything from TVI branded t-shirts and hoodies to stickers and coffee mugs, perfect for showing your support while keeping the mysteries close. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore the things visible and invisible.